Hello guys, I am back with another video, and in this video I will be telling you how to ace your application. So in the application process there are three main things you'll be evaluated on. One, the stats. Two, your extracurriculars, and three, your essays. Of course there will be some extra ones at the end, but you'll see them. Okay, one, your stats. Your stats are your SAT score, ACT score, TOEFL, and your transcript. One, your transcript. Your transcript will tell a good transcript will tell the school how ready you are for the curriculum, for the academic workload. How well can you cope with your curriculum? That's what it will tell the schools. And that's what they need to have, that information. Of course, a good transcript for A schools, like for A schools, big schools, will be students will be a transcript with almost all A's or average 85 and above. That's what grade schools want. That's what grade schools want. So my transcript, my lowest average was my lowest average was, I think, 90. Yeah, and in my transcript my lowest average was 90, and I had straight A's. I had almost straight A's in my secondary living examinations. A good transcript and a good certificate will definitely help your application. So if you are still in, let's say, Form 5 or lower sit or any lower class, I will tell you to be serious in school, read your books, and slay those tests. That's why. So for good schools, a good SAT starts with a score of 1500 on 1600. For my school, the 50th percentile was 1470 and 1600, and the 75th percentile was 1570. My SAT score was 1340, and I was so salty. I was so salty about that score, you can't even imagine. Yeah. There's a site called College Board, and there you have a lot of practice tests, and you have the practice test and your answers, which you can download and practice. That is what I will be advising you. Do it as fast as possible. Do as many practice tests as possible. Practice the law. Do a lot of things, like do a lot of revision. It helps. I think that if I had revised a little earlier or 6 months prior, I would have had a better score. The second part of your application, it will be the second important thing in your application. It will be your extracurriculars. What will your extracurriculars tell the schools? It will tell the schools that you're not just an information processor, but you're also a person with hobbies, with ideals, and with passions. They will tell the school. It will tell the schools that you actually spend time on your passion, and those passions strengthened or shaped your personality. That's what it will tell the school, and that's what the schools want you to know. That's what the schools want to know. They want to know you, who you are. So I often get this question of what if what I'm doing is not meaningful, or it's not important, or it's not great, because I was in your position 6 months prior. Let me tell you the first thing. What makes your extracurricular or your activities meaningful is you. It is only you. If you don't believe in your ideas, nobody will. That's the first thing. Nobody will. And if you think that what you're doing or the time you're spending on what you're doing is not meaningful, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? You're doing it because it's meaningful to you, and you have to agree to that. So, what makes whatever you're doing meaningful? You, the time you spend trying to solve this or that problem, is meaningful because you spend your time, you spend your sweat. You can't tell me you're doing something for nothing. You're doing something because you think it's going to have a consequent impact on the lives of certain people. So yeah, what you're doing is meaningful. It is not useless and it is meaningful. Okay, that's what I wanted to tell you because I get too many. What I'm doing is not meaningful. It is. It is. Okay, I love all music, but mainly K-pop. So that's why I did my activities. I created several online platforms where K-pop fans, Cameroonian K-pop fans, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, and on Facebook, I think, where where Cameroonians or Africans can commute and enjoy, and express their love for K-pop. That's what I did. Two, I wrote an album review about my favorite K-pop, which you can find on Manga as Shonen. I wrote an article about Yusuke's former CEO of Airtel Ghana to promote women in STEM. Yeah, because uh, I taught English to francophones in my community because I believe uh, bilingualism is great. It's an intellectual asset, it's a cultural asset, it's just an asset, being bilingual is being Cameroonian. So I think everybody should, and I definitely did what I could to make it happen. Um, I also created a bilingualism club in my school. I won several poetry competitions. I was runner up in the spelling bee. Uh, yeah, that's what and yeah, I participated in a STEM competition where my team and I wanted to create an application that promotes cultural appreciation. So that's what I did for my extracurriculars. And when you see my extracurriculars, you see who I am. I'm a STEM woman. Well, two, um, I love cultures and cultural appropriation. I love music and I love bilingualism. So that's what I am, and I fight for and try to improve it. And I'm also for gender equality, and you see that all through what I am doing, right? So they really wanted to learn English. So, and I was volunteering to help them. So most of them were serious, but I taught adults, teenagers, and children. And when you're teaching, I think the hardest thing was to teach adults because I'm not even 20, and to teach a person, a man or a woman of 30 is not easy because in Cameroon you don't correct your elder. Even if they've come here to study, you don't correct them, at least not openly. So most of my evenings were about how I could find strategies to let them know that they were wrong without actually telling them. So that was all about my nights. I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And other to make the class evolve and let them know and get them interested. Oh, and also how to get them interested and really curious about the language so as to continue learning it even when I'm not there. That was all what my nights were about, thinking about how I could do that. And what this person was saying and getting interested about something they weren't understanding fully. So about something they weren't understanding fully. So one of the things I did is that I made them. Our first class was about watching a movie totally in English. Yeah, and the movie was Coco. I think you know that movie. I love that movie. I think we all do, and it goes in with my cultural love. So I made them watch Coco. I was at first when I made them watch it, I was like, oh my god, Rose, what are you doing? They're not going to understand anything. They're not even going to watch. They're going to get lost and be asking you what they're saying every 2 minutes. And no, it wasn't like that. They were so focused. and they were even commenting, and I was like, what? I thought they didn't know English, but no, actually they did. So it was for just those little moments, and even after they were commenting, they told me what they were understanding, and they told me how they loved the movie and would like it. And it was a little achievement that I really liked, so that's why I talked to me about teaching, because it made me grow and made me. For the last, almost the last, your essays. How well you write your essays will determine how audible your voice will be to the admission officer, how audible your struggles will be, how audible your activities will be, how meaningful they will be, and how well they will understand your context. Yeah, yeah, how well they will understand your context and the context in Cameroon, and why what you're doing in your country is meaningful in your country. You understand? Making an impact where you are is already very good. Trying to make an impact where you are is already very great. As long as you take the courage to make the first step. Hmm? Yeah. So, have any question? Anything you want to know? In the comments, like, that's like, it's dislike or is this? Oh, it's this. Like, subscribe please. Bye bye. See you in my next video.